Okay, so the first question is, can you tell me who you are and what you currently do? And then could you give us a little bit about your background from where you came to how you're here now,
Yeah. So I'm Richard Holt. I'm the director of Creative Innovation Centre, CIC Taunton, which was set up 6 years ago. My background is 35 years really in the promotion of the creative sector. So that's everything from music to visual arts to poetry to design, media. And I'm very passionate about what creativity brings to the community and what it can do to empower people to make a change positively with their own lives.
And could you tell me how you sort of create and tell stories through this business here, and how it kind of gives what the purpose is really of this whole
Yeah.
place?
So 6 years ago, when we opened the centre, it was primarily in response to that continuous ambition to improve the profile of the arts and what it brings, the benefits that it brings to the community. And I was just driving past this centre about 6 years ago and thought, rather than go around to everybody else's centre and continue my story, I'd have my own space where I could create my own stories and people come to me. And it was also in response to, at that time, massive reduction in funding for the arts in Taunton, namely the closure of the brew house, 50% cut in arts for the local college, Somerset College, which is one of the top two colleges in the country. And I felt, because I live here, I wanted to add something, and that's primarily why we opened this 6 years ago.
And then, how powerful do you feel this as a space can give? Do you think it gives a platform for yourself and for others, and how powerful do you think that is?
Yeah, again, sort of continuing from that journey on the last 6 years, we're now turning over probably about 1,000 people a week. From that, on a yearly basis, we support and promote on average 30 new businesses in the creative sector. We promote over probably 250 musicians, artists. So we bring a lot to the economy, and that also involves introducing new work to the general public and inspiring people to do new things and really get involved with their community on a creative basis.
And how do you think people respond to the events that are here? And yeah, how do you think people respond to it really?
Yeah, we use questionnaires, we use impact testing, so data analytics to look at how our audiences are responding to the events we put on. So we're constantly reviewing what we do and what we put on as far as a program. In general, 99.9% of people that come in and go out are coming in very surprised at what they find. Very exciting, inspiring space, exciting programming, and they go out the door saying they want to come back, and generally they do. So the response is good.
And do you think people see what you see when you create an event, or people come and want to make an event here? Do you think they see the visions that you see, or do you think they see something completely different in this space?
I think, a number of people are just using it as a space. It could be a space anywhere in the world from their point of view. But I think by the time they've been here, experienced our positive outlook on things, people tend to learn about the potential and the opportunities that exist through looking at things in a slightly different way.
And how easy would you say it is for others to do a similar thing to what you're doing?
To do this, I mean, we've just got an exhibition, fun enough, in Bristol at the moment. And if you go around Bristol, there are quite a lot of multi arts type centres. And I think in large, they're funded locally by their councils. Whereas we've bucked the trend in the last 6 years, we stand on our own 2 feet. We're not funded, have any public funding whatsoever. We're primarily supported by the activities that we do. So I would say, in response to that, it is difficult, but I think you have to have ambition, you've got to take risks, and have the vision and the ability to go think, right, today's another day, we can improve what we're doing. So I think you've got to be resilient and have that tenacity really to do it.
And do you think each type of event that is hosted here, do you think they're all different and they have their different visions and different meanings behind them?
Yeah, invariably, you look at, for example, this exhibition that we've just put up. There are 10 different artists with 10 different visions. We've got a creatives club tonight, so you'll probably meet probably 40 different individual ideas, different visions. But what we do is celebrate individuality, diversity. So it's about people learning from each other, and we celebrate the fact that we're all different and we all have different ideas, and we look at where the common ground is.
And do you think each event has its own sort of emotions and different feelings?
Yeah, yeah. A good example of that is the poetry nights that we have here once a month, and they're very. You feel very sort of privileged to be in the space with poets because they are very insightful. In the main, most of their work is quite intimate in their deepest feelings, etc. Whereas if you come to a music night, then people want to dance. People want to express themselves in different ways. So yeah, it's like different colours on the palette. Yeah.
And can you give sort of a brief background of where sort of the art industry's sort of been and how you think it's going to be different in the future to be able to tell stories?
Yeah, I think the story I outlined with Kit Kit is quite a good example of the transition that the arts have taken over the last, say, 10 years. So funding has been dramatically reduced in the UK for the arts. And as a result, artists need to find new ways in which to sustain their activities, look at how they can collaborate, how they can work together to continue their work and bring the benefits of that activity to the front so that the audiences appreciate that unless they participate and pay for art, then art will tend to be done behind closed doors.
And what do you do to kind of keep your events engaging for people and interesting? And what do you think sort of sets your events aside from other places?
Okay, I sort of answered this earlier on in the sense that we respond to our audiences, so we constantly review what we're putting on and and likewise with the artists. So the artists will feed back, we modify, and that keeps it fresh and relevant for the moment. The second part of your question, I think, is more to do with how do we go forward. I think what we hope to do here really is provide a vision of a can-do, let's work together in order to improve our communities, and that is happening right across the piece. So I think sending out a positive message is really the key.
And then my last question would be, can you tell me what storytelling means to you? Yeah, just what it means to you, really.
Storytelling, I think it's about, like the poetry, it's about understanding other people's points of view and maybe retelling that in a different way across different art forms. And, everybody's got a story to tell. And I think, if we can provide the platform and the spaces to be able to do that, then I think the world's a richer place.
And then, is there anything that you wanted to add? Anything maybe coming up here, or anything that you wanted to add on the film?
I would say that a very exciting prospect is Taunton Live, which is coming up in June and July, but it's being advertised. And I think that for us is really embodiment of what I've just been saying. It's about people working together. It's about community sharing their ideas, sharing their stories, and that's a festival in Taunton celebrating the arts.